developing that EVP and you want to work out yours with your team and again, communicate it back to anybody, really having that base underneath saying, okay, we need to be able to, because we know, as I said, from the data, people still want to know, what am I getting paid? What's it versus other people? What are my benefits? Then layering on this experimental piece, that's the contractual. Then getting into that piece where it's talking about the careers and the well-being, and then moving up into that purpose. And you can see on the left side, are we competitive on our compensation? Are we differentiated on how we turn up in terms of our well-being and how you can progress? And are we unique in terms of our purpose? And that emotional piece, because again, it's showing us that people do want it more so than ever before. They want to know what's the purpose of the organization. So it is really important to get these pieces of information before we ever get to that final statement in terms of our EVP. So again, some practical, these are 10 steps that you can take away for today in terms of developing the EVP. So just getting into like, what could you do if you started looking at, okay, how do I do this? How do I go about doing this? So for us, carry out internal desk research. So start initially, obviously you know, in terms of what's happening within the company, what documents have been there before. A lot of times sometimes there's death by documents, so we've been trying to get those documents in place, really trying to find out what's happening. Also find what's happening when we're doing desk research for your comp set. So the competitors, what's happening if we're competing for engineers in the same city or the same country, the same region. Again, understanding what their EVP is or their lack of an EVP possibly. Gather your employees' perceptions, so start actually doing some really deep research around how do people feel, and doing focus group surveys. Obviously there's lots of pulse surveys that companies do now, but you need to, when you're really looking at that EVP, have some specific deep work on this. Use your surveys from the past, but actually really sit and spend time with people on people's perceptions and let them feed into developing that EVP. Examine that employee feedback, so really deep dive in it, analyze it, look for those nuggets within it, identify any key drivers of engagement and retention. So often along the journey of developing, what makes us different? Why should someone come and work here and stay here? But also get other pieces of information and drivers that allow us actually to even develop some activities. So there could be a need for more well-being, there could be a need for more communication, or there could be a need for training and learning and development. So can we get anything else from them when we're looking at that, and really identify and team them and put them into teams so you can really start building that EVP and that initial employer brand. Then develop that preliminary statement in terms of EVP, test it, approve it, encourage internal engagement. So this is where we're at it. We have reached our EVP, we've tested it, we've approved it, play around with it. We need to get engagement internally before we get it externally. And that's really important from number 7 there to number 9.